Hey Lewis, welcome to this video. Want to welcome you if you are new, and if you do want to subscribe, please go ahead. I'd love to have you join my YouTube family. If you're a part of my YouTube family already, hi everyone. Thank you for coming back. Lots of hugs and well wishes going out. And this video is going to be a junk mail envelope, junk journal of bountiful thankfulness. I don't know what I want to call it, but I want to say bountiful blessings, but I really want it to be about a thankful heart. And this recollections paper pad is thankful heart. So maybe we'll just call it the Thankful Heart Junk Journal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take like junk mail envelopes that would just get tossed in the trash, make a junk journal out of them for November, and I want to have enough room to do a blessing a day or a thankfulness a day, because I really want to get my mind and my focus on things that I'm thankful for, because there's so many things going on to distract us from being thankful and feeling that blessing in our hearts. So we're going to do that, and I hope you'll join me. What we're going to do tonight, we're going to get it started and put it together, pick out the papers that we want. I have all kinds of goodies over here to make it with, and just get started. We'll probably have to do it in 2 videos, so this would be part 1. So this is a really easy supply gathering, because you just need some glue, whatever you want to decorate with, like lace and fabric or burlap or buttons or pages out of a book, or any kind of die cuts that you might have, or ephemera, and some papers. And that's really what you need. And if you like it vintage look, I'd say make your own blending tool if you don't have one, and get some brown cocoa or black if you like that strong distinction. I like the brown. It's not as, distinct. The first thing that you need to do is find your envelopes. Now, because I want to make it for November, there are 30 days in November, and I want to make sure I have enough. So I'm going to use 15 different envelopes that would normally be thrown into the trash can, right? Or you'd shred it. So all of these are just return envelopes that, comes in the mail, or a bill has an extra envelope, and I'm just going to make something beautiful out of it. So what you need to do first is take your envelope and fold all your flaps backwards. So do that first. Just take your envelopes, except for one, and leave one the way that it is. Okay, once you have all of your junk mail envelopes folded, you're going to take your envelopes and you're going to put one flap inside the other one. So this one is folded, and I will tell you that normally I wouldn't do this big of an envelope junk journal, because I don't want it to break or tear. But I'm going to be careful with it, using it like for one thing a day, and that way I can just bring my thoughts back to the things that I'm thankful for. So I take my flap, and you can see I just slide it inside here. If this envelope is a little bit too big, I want to make sure I can fit it in there. Now I can make this a pocket too, which is really cool. And you have some self-made pockets when you put your envelopes together. So what I'm going to do is, I see that it fits just fine, and I'm going to take some liquid glue, not hot glue, not stick glue, and I'm just going to put it on the edge here of this one, because it doesn't fit exactly in there all the way, because this envelope is just a tad smaller. So I'm going to slide this in here. Make sure, and the liquid glue is forgiving, so that's nice. Make sure it's in there good. If you need to cut a little slit, you can do so, and it won't hurt anything. Now, I've got my first set of pages put together. You can see you just keep going the same way all the way through. So here I have my next one. I take my next envelope, I put some glue here, and I push my flap into the next envelope, and you just keep going until you build your book. It's really simple. I showed this in another video, but I wanted to briefly show it here so that you could see if you hadn't seen my other junk mail journals videos. So I'm going to slide that in there and press it down and keep it going. So that's how I'm going to assemble my junk mail junk journal. Okay, down to almost my last one. This one I'm going to put into this flap. And I will tell you a little trick. If you find that your flap to one envelope is a little larger, you can cut it down and it'll slide right in there. And this one is a little bit big, but it's okay. All right, so now I've got that one in there. And now I am all the way almost done until I get to this last one. All right, so now this one is folded back, and I'm gonna take this one that is folded the correct way, and I'm gonna slide this into this envelopes right here. Now this is the last one. I'm gonna slide it in like we did all the other ones, except for this one is folded the correct way an envelope would be folded. And it is a little bit big. So let me show you what I was talking about. I've got my glue on here, but I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna cut it here. Just trim it just a tad so that it'll slide in without any issues. And I should have checked that before, but that's okay. I got it now. And now we're in there. So there's the envelope, flap is in there. Gonna show you, seal it down really good. And then when you fold your envelope the correct way, it's gonna come over your other envelopes like that, and that is part of your binding to hold your envelopes together. So I'm gonna take glue, a generous amount, and then I'm going to pull this flap over the very first envelope that I put together. Who says envelope? Who says envelope? I don't even know if there's really a wrong way to say it, but everybody grows up in different parts of the world or country, and you learn it different ways. Okay, so now we've put the junk journal together. That's easy as that. And this is a junk mail junk journal. And we're upcycling all these wonderful little envelopes that you get in the mail, and we're gonna make them beautiful. So, all right, so now you have a front and a back, and it doesn't really matter which is which because you can cover it, so it won't matter. Now, I have gathered my supplies, and before I cover it, if I want to make a tie or a closure, I can actually just glue it on now, or I don't have to, and I can put it on the outside. There are so many ways to do this, but I like the easy, simple way. And so this is a great way to use up all of your scraps. Okay, so what I mean by that is you may have a bag of scraps, ribbons, or scrap lace, or just scraps laying around, just little pieces. This is a great way to use those up. Now I'm gonna take some of this ribbon, and I thought I had one open, but I'm gonna take this, it's called lace ribbon. It's one of my favorites from the Dollar Tree. Looks like this. And this is what I want my closure to be, because I like to have a closure. So before you put any papers or anything on, you're going to want to make your closure. And if you want it in the middle, Then you go ahead and glue it down before you put your papers on. And then that way it has some more stability already. So if I want to cut it about this length and be able to tie a bow or a knot, I think this looks good. So let's see how long that is with my large junk mail envelopes. So this is 18 inches and another 10, so about 28 inches I'm cutting. You could do it an even 2 feet or however you want to do it. Now I fold it in half. I'll just show you that. I fold it in half and I've got it twisted. So you want to make sure it's not twisted. Okay, fold it in half. Then you want your binding where your fold is. So you want your binding here. That way you have an even. Now if you don't want it even, that's fine too. You can do it however you want. Then you can just check it out and say, okay, that looks like halfway, or you can actually measure it. So this is about a 9-inch envelope. So if I put it at 4.5, I can just push it down just a tad and it's right in the middle of the 4.5. So this is where I want it. And I'm gonna take my glue and I'm gonna glue that down. So I'm gonna do that to the front and the back. And remember, this is great glue because it's forgiving. You can use any of the glues that you have. This is something that you wanna do with things that you have at home. You don't wanna have to go and buy a whole bunch of supplies, right? Now, if you don't have papers or something, you can use magazines, books, whatever, maybe something that comes in the mail. I don't, you know, or catalogs, or you can go and purchase some beautiful scrapbook papers at a discount. Anyway, all right, so I'm gonna let this dry a little bit, and then I'm gonna show you, well, while this is drying, let's pick out some papers. I will tell you, I already know I want some burlap and lace on my journal for my thankful heart. Okay, so I have this scrapbook pad from Recollections. It's beautiful, you guys. Let's look at the papers. They have these beautiful greens, this lovely autumn orange color. I love this. This is just gorgeous, and I think that might be my cover. Stripes, just some beautiful background papers, which is lovely. These flowers in this green is just gorgeous. I mean, this paper pad is just beautiful. I love the gold foil. And then inside there are these additional cards that you can cut out and put in your journal, or use them for tags, or use them for pockets. And you know you got to have lots of pockets for your junk journal. So beautiful papers. I also love, love, love this pumpkin paper. Can we just talk about how cute this paper is? I love these pumpkins. So that will definitely be in my journal. And so got some really cute papers. And what we want to do, isn't this adorable too? I love this paper. Anyway, okay, so I'm loving on the paper. Now what I need to do is, yes, you do need to measure. So take a ruler, measure, well, yeah, measure from the top to the bottom of your envelope. And that is 9 inches for mine. And then from the spine to, now this envelope is 4 inches, and this one may be about 4, well, it's the way that it hits in there. So about 4 inches, so 9 by 4. So that's about the size that you want to cut your papers, and you can go ahead and pre-cut them. But you may want to do some extended or fold outs. So all of your papers may not be cut to the 9 by 4 if you use that same measurement for, well, let me just say, I'm running over my words. If you use the same size junk mail envelopes that I'm using. Now, for this cover today, I'm gonna take my paper and I'm gonna actually wrap it around the whole cover. So I'm covering my whole front and back with this same paper. Now my choice to do that this time is because I want the stability to my junk journal. And I am gonna go ahead and do that first. In some of my journals, I wait and do them later. I don't do them first. So what I need to do is I need to go ahead and measure, and what I'm gonna do is I may come over just a tad because this one sticks out, this envelope. So I'm gonna measure right here and see how far that comes, and I'm just gonna get a pencil and mark it. All right, so now I wanna cut 9 inches so that I have the top the right size, the right measurement. I'm gonna move that out of the way. Now I'm gonna take my junk journal and I'm gonna lay it in here and make sure I got it correct. And it looks great. I love it. This is gonna be so cute and cute to decorate on the front. All right, now what I need to do is I need to take my glue and I need to put it all over the front of this envelope. And I'm just gonna fold that over. And I wanna make sure that it's glued all the way down. Okay? Now, the next thing I wanna do is glue the back. And I'm just gonna open this up and, and put my glue on this envelope. And I'm gonna put some in the spine as well. Don't forget your spine. And we don't have a real spine, but we do, right? Because it's not a real, you know, like book spine, but we're making our own spine with our envelopes. Right, and then I'm gonna take this, and you can smear it. Again, you wanna make sure it gets to all the edges. I started to close it, but trying to remember to tell you all the goodies to do. And then you wanna push it down as well as you can. Now you do probably want to let this dry some before you start working the inside of your journal. So if you're gonna cover the back, you wanna make sure that you are back and front, that you are making sure to make sure all your edges are covered and to probably let it dry some before you move on to the next inside pages. Okay, I've picked out my papers. Now I need to cut them to size. Some papers are gonna be cut exactly the 4x9 size, and some I'm gonna cut a little bit bigger so that I can actually make a fold out open for them. Then I can use scraps and such to make tags or pockets. So you don't wanna get rid of any of those. I hope you'll come back tomorrow for part 2. I hope it'll be tomorrow. Anyway, I hope you'll come back for the next video.